Hi, I'm Kendall with the Rawls Group. The old African proverb, "It takes a village," illustrates the essential nature of a team approach to succession planning. Succession planning is a complex endeavor. As such, it requires leveraging the expertise of a diversity of backgrounds. Collaboration and different expert opinions provides a 360-degree approach, ensuring the possible, probable, and potential issues impacting your long-term vision are addressed. To provide insight into common questions received from business owners, we are leveraging the village of our valued strategic relationships. As you listen to this episode, you'll be able to immediately apply the key takeaways and you'll come back for more. Now we're going to focus on: how do you protect business continuity if I, as the owner operator, gets the virus and/or one or more of my key people?
Well, this is an issue that we've tried to address a number of times with clients over the years relating to succession planning and planning around key people, people who can take over operations if something happens to an owner or operator. A lot of what we talk to people about is to make sure there's a continuity plan. Right now, that seems to be becoming more of an issue for people as they are concerned about the types of problems that they have where people are out because of sickness or where senior executives are out because of sickness. But this is something that comes up all the time. We really try to address this with clients on a regular basis so that they make sure that they have a plan in place for key people to take over operations if they're unable to do it.
My name is Michael Iannuzzi, and I am a CPA and co-chair of Citron Cooperman's Franchise Accounting and Consulting Practice. We do audit work and tax and consulting work for franchisors and multi-unit franchisees. In today's video clip, we are going to address the following question. How do you protect business continuity if I, as the owner-operator, gets the virus and/or one of my key people do? Prior to the pandemic, business owners should always be examining and studying their business from a business continuity and succession planning perspective. Putting the pandemic aside, there are always challenges facing an ongoing business, such as natural disasters, economic conditions, government rules and regulations, personal issues, among many other things that could disrupt the natural flow of business. As the business owner, your ultimate goal should be to build an organization that could fully function without you. As I'm sure you heard this before, you should be working on the business and not in the business. You should be reevaluating and evaluating your internal organizational structure and putting contingency plans in place to operate if multiple key people are out. As an example, let's say you have an in-house sales team. Perhaps you should be making relationships with 2 to 3 third-party sales teams in case you need to switch gears and outsource sales for a while. Depending on your type of business, is your website optimized to take online payments? Is it user-friendly? Is it mobile-friendly? If you are a retail establishment, can you turn on curbside pickup overnight? These are the types of things you should be thinking about. Are you training people to move up within the company so they can operate if you aren't there? Another point to consider is, do you have certain insurances in place, like key man policies? As you can tell from this brief video clip, there are both operational and financial considerations to constantly think about and to plan for. And the key thing to remember is these plans should be reviewed at annual intervals and tweaked and adjusted accordingly. This isn't something to think about once and file away. Thank you so much for tuning in.
The key here is that let's go beyond a little bit of the virus, because eventually the virus is going to be over. The more important thing is what's going to happen if you or one or more of your key managers becomes disabled or you have some inability to work for a prolonged period of time. That's really where we should be concerned about the leadership continuity of the business. So part of what we want to focus on is how are we developing the people who could be a succession contingency for us, so that in the event we are disabled or not able to be in the office on a regular basis, we've actually got some people who understand people, who understand the plans that we have in place, who understand the processes that we follow, and who know how to make a profit. So these are the 4 areas that you really want to be focused on. Develop a leadership team that understands those 4 things. In terms of the people, what we want them to know is what are the characteristics of the key people that are really going to line up with our values, our vision, and our guiding principles. So that's step number 1. Make sure you've got people behind you who understand those things and can step in. Number 2, we want to look at the plans that we have in place. Whether they're contingency plans or whether they come out of the strategic plan or whatever your planning process is, They need to know how to implement the plans, and they need to be very good at planning all of the intricacies that go with making a plan successful. The third piece that you want to look at in your contingency bridge is, do they understand processes? And I'm going to give you a definition of a process that I've always found very beneficial. And a process is a good process if it makes it easy for your customers or your people to be successful. If it makes it difficult for your people or your customers to be successful in dealing with you, you've got a process that's not effective, and you may want to change that now before somebody else has to implement it. The fourth and final step that you want to make sure that they know how to do is make money. Because in order to keep the business continuing, you have to be able to have financial continuity. So there are four things that as owners you can do to make sure that leadership continuity goes on in your absence. Make sure you have people you have a management team that understands people. Make sure they understand what the plans are that are in place, how to implement effective processes, and how to make money. Then you'll be fine. And when you're able to come back, people will celebrate and they'll be glad to turn the reins back over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our strategic partners, The Village, for participating and sharing your perspective. Do you have a burning question you want to discuss with an expert? Feel free to submit it via the Ask an Expert link featured on the page. Continue to listen to this series now or come back later for more. Each question featured may want you to learn something new.